Hi, I'm Dave Atkinson, and welcome to Life on the Straight. Please take a moment to listen to the song My Caregiver. It is now available on music stores and streaming services including iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Pandora, and many others. I've also placed a music video under my Creative Projects playlist. This is part 4 of the story behind the song.
There she was, always by me, always there, pushing me in my wheelchair.
The pain of the radiation treatments was such that I couldn't go to sleep without OxyContin. I know that people can become addicted to painkillers, so my natural reaction was to just not take them. But you reach a point where in order to sleep, you need some relief, so I took the bare minimum, mostly under the recommended prescription dosage. By then, the immunotherapy treatment side effects were kicking in as well. The drug causes plaque to build up within the bowel, and that creates all kinds of problems. It's like an on-off switch. Either it is coming out of you like a gusher, or you're plugged up as tight as a drum. Once each week, we'd meet in person with Dr. Kim to go over how the radiation treatments were progressing. On July 21st, I mentioned to him how my left foot was getting more numb each day. He immediately sent us down to have a vascular ultrasound of my leg. The results were not good. The cancer had eaten away much of the blood vessel network servicing my leg, and backup veins and arteries had expanded in an attempt to mitigate the decreased blood flows. I had massive blood clots behind my left knee area with very little flow to my lower leg. Afterwards that night, Dr. Kim put me on Lovenox injectable blood thinner medicine. We picked it up at the hospital pharmacy and immediately began using it. Some people can inject themselves with blood thinners or insulin, and I take my hat off to them, as I cannot. With Lovenox, what you get are preloaded mini syringes. The target area is the belly, and you want to stay away from the belly button, as the chances of hitting a sensitive nerve increase the closer you get. And you can hit a nerve anywhere, but you want to increase the odds of not doing so. So that's the first sting, the needle going into your gut. The second part is the sting of the medicine itself. And I needed this treatment twice a day. Amy took care of all my injections. She would also bring me a frozen bag of vegetables to numb the area before the needle went in. But in time we ditched that precaution, as it didn't seem to do all that much good. As the days went by, my belly was turning black and blue from the injections, and it hurt more if the needle went into a bruised portion rather than virgin belly. Amy was really good at finding the least painful target. Now that Lovenox was messing with my blood, it was time to visit yet another specialty area at the University of Washington Medical Center, and that was their anticoagulation clinic. By now I was getting used to all the pokes that came with constant blood testing. I should say, actually, you never really get used to it. And the anticoagulation clinic added even more. They monitored my blood and adjusted the dosage of Lovenox accordingly. I loved it when they eventually lowered the dose. The sting of the needle was still there, but the follow-up sting of the medicine was reduced. Both the University of Washington Medical Center and the SCCA clinic had what I think of as mini factories for the drawing of blood and the placement of IV lines. You check in at the desk, and when they call your number, you go back with the tech into their own little cubicle-like area where they stick a needle in your arm and extract several vials of blood for testing. By and large, the blood testing went without a hitch. At one time, the tech couldn't find a vein, and I asked for a different tech. The techs at the SCCA clinic really went out of their way to make IV placements hurt as little as possible. They applied chemically heated bags around the insertion area to make it less sensitive, but in the end the blood draw needles stung a little and the IV needles hurt a lot more. And for at least blood testing, it was almost a daily event. It seems like every time we entered the hospital or clinic, I first had to go get my blood drawn. You feel like a pincushion at times, but what can you do? On July 5th, I had my final radiation treatment. By now, my leg had blisters and was red as a tomato. As I was leaving the radiation center for the last time, or so I thought, they had a wall-mounted gong that I struck with a little mallet, which elicited clapping and cheers from the crowd in the waiting room. From there, we returned to the SCCA clinic, where I took in my final immunotherapy infusion. Like before, we spent another full day at the SCCA house, heading home on the 7th. The next stop on my treatment plan would be surgery, but first my leg would have to heal from the radiation for 5 long weeks.
Rushing down this river, my love, my wife, my caregiver.
It was so good to finally be back home after being gone for more than a month. It wasn't a picnic, however. The Lovenox shots continued. We had a large plastic jar on the nightstand next to the bed, the kind that those cheese puffs from Costco come in, and it was rapidly reaching the top and used mini syringes. As my stomach pretty much was now just one big black and blue target, I absolutely dreaded the times right before a shot and celebrated just as soon as the pain subsided. My leg continued to swell. We religiously put the special cream on the skin as we had been instructed, but there wasn't a waking minute that it didn't throb in pain. I so looked forward to sleep each night. The immunotherapy treatments had side effects somewhat like what I heard from chemo, where food started tasting different, which is mostly bad. I didn't feel like eating and had a hard time in the bathroom. And our bathroom counter was a lineup of over-the-counter fiber drink powders and other delightful concoctions to either get things moving or to keep them from moving too fast. Amy tried making me just about every kind of meal one could imagine to see if I could get my strength up, but I just couldn't bring myself to eat. During the run-up to surgery, I would lose 32 pounds. We had started thinking of my huge left thigh as having a big gourd growing inside, and ended up referring to it as Gordy. I floated an idea by Amy that with this 5-week healing period before my surgical date, it would be nice to host a big party for family, friends, and neighbors. People could bring one or more gourds and set them along with a baseball, or set them up, and with a baseball bat, we would smash them over the bluff, which sat about 120 feet up from the beach. This would be my 7th inning stretch party. The upcoming surgery was going to be dangerous, but no matter what, I'd either not be making it, which is the worst case, or be vastly modified, which would be the best case. So I'd like to see everyone one last time before that came to pass. Together with a few friends, neighbors, and family members, Amy made that happen. She contacted people that I hadn't seen for years, even decades, and invited folks to attend either on Saturday or Sunday. We wanted to have 2 days to give people as much flexibility as possible. The weather on July 28th and 29th couldn't have been better, with bright sun and calm winds. What can I say? I will remember that gathering to my dying days. On August 5th, it was time to move back into the SCCA house in Seattle. We would remain there until the 28th. On the 6th, it was time for more CT and MRI scans. On the 7th, we visited a gastroenterologist. Her business card had a little poop emoji on it to see about my bowel situation that was not getting any better. She's the one that told us of the immunotherapy caused bowel plaque and also to eat avocados as often as I could. On the 8th, it was blood draws and consultation with a surgeon. Tomorrow would be the day.